everybody, to another episode of Marketplace Ministries. And I'm so excited today to have Kyle Vickers with me, and he's in North Ireland, but originally from South Africa. And so Lines Arise is going to be launching their new website soon, and I'm very excited for this because there's going to be a lot of new offerings on the website. And one of the areas that I'm really focusing on is creating a network for people in ministry, and not only in ministry. The new segment I've started is for marketplace ministries. And so that's where Kyle comes in today. And Kyle's focus is on nutrition, but I know he'll share a bit more about that. And we were just discussing before the time, how important nutrition is for our bodies. And for those of you that know me, I work with trauma, and we know that we spirit, soul, body, and the body is a really important part of dealing with, what we need to deal with. As Bessel van der Kolk says, the body keeps the score. It holds the memory of everything. So it makes sense that we actually take care of our bodies. So without saying too much more, Kyle, I'm going to hand over to you, and maybe you can just tell us a little bit about where you are right now, how you sort of got into what you're doing, and then we'll just let it flow from there.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Tammy. So, I'm in Northern Ireland at the moment. Immigrated from Cape Town, South Africa, about 2.5 years ago. And what sort of brought me to studying nutrition and wanting to get into helping people with food and these things. My mom got diagnosed quite a couple of years ago. I'm not going to go into too much detail. That's her story to tell, but it was basically a false diagnosis. It was wrong. And she went through major surgery, many months and years in the hospital, in and out. Fortunately at the time, I wasn't working a 9 to 5. We were working quite closely together, so it allowed me to go to the hospital to take her to the appointments. I was at the hospital 3, 4, 5 times a day, just because she was there. And obviously I wanted to see her and make sure she was okay. So at the time, I felt very helpless. I didn't have the education to understand what half of the doctors were saying. And there was nothing I could do. The only things that I could do to help was take her to the hospital and try and help her at home as best as I could.
The support too.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I didn't have finances to go and study. None of that was an option. So leading on a couple of years, I immigrated to the UK, like I said, living in Northern Ireland, and somehow the doors opened, for me to study. It's the first time in my life that I've been given this opportunity to study, and I took it with both hands. I jumped on it. I obviously discussed it with my wife, who's Tammy as well, and she agreed. We did this thing together, and I went into nutrition head on. Got certified as a nutrition coach, and I'm also in the middle of doing a mindset specialist, which basically deals with psychology around food, how people think about food. It's not just something in front of you that you kind of need to eat to feel better, and there's a whole different realm about it, and that's what I'm going through, as well as life coaching and professional coaching. So it's a busy time, and Tammy's also pregnant. She's 25 weeks, I believe.
Yeah, family's growing.
Yeah. So there's a lot going on. But it's always been something that I've loved to do, is help people. And I believe now that I have the skills to do that properly. You know, it's not just information that you can read on the internet and hopefully it's going to work.
Yes.
And I will say this: all the information that I have is available to everybody on the internet. You know, what I know, you can go and find out. But where I come in is, and I get this question a lot, so why then should people pay me to coach them if they can go and get the information, right? Where I come in is applying that information. Because we all have access to the same, you know, anybody can go and Google anything they want. You know, we're in the information age.
That's right.
But nobody has been able to apply it properly. And that's where, you know, that's where I come in. And there's this thing about losing weight and maintaining weight is just eat less and move more. You know, and yes, in essence, it's right. The theory behind it is right. That's one of the ways to lose weight, to eat less and move more. But it's like somebody falling into water and just shouting at them, don't drown, but they can't swim.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, it's not going to help them. You know, obviously they know not to drown. Like that's common sense. But it's not going to help them. So going to somebody who's struggling with their weight and just being like, listen, just eat less and move more. Like, what's the problem? Doesn't work. Doesn't work for everyone. So there is no one size fits all. You know, I'm not going to bring you something and say this will help. Now, there are laws and there are certain principles that we follow, yes, but every person is different. Every person has different stresses. Every person has different hormones. Every person has different lifestyle, you know.
That's right.
So how it works is I will come to you and we will sit down and we will go through a couple of things, and I will look at your data based on your body type, you know, your lifestyle, what you eat, what you don't like to eat, what work you do. You know, there's so many different areas of a person's life that we look, and then we assess according to what data we have with you. And depending on what goals you have, we'll go through those goals and hopefully we'll achieve them. But it's so much more than just eating less and moving more.
Yeah, and it's because everybody's unique, right? They're going to respond differently to programs as well. Some people want the goals, some people need the motivation, some people say, just give me a plan, I'll do it. And then other people need you to, like, step by step, can you walk through this with me? You know, I guess it's the same with counseling, is the same. Some people take the tools you give them and they have the break, just go for it. And other people just take a little bit longer, and you got to walk that road with them to get them where they need to be.
And that's great. Some people want, you know, the education behind why you're doing this and why am I doing that. Some people just say, tell me what to do and I'll do it.
Yes.
That's fine. I'm happy to work with both kinds of people. There's some people have asked me, you know, what I do and how you do it. It's basically parenting when I think about it, because you know, I'm going to people and I'm saying, listen, if you eat too many sweets, you're gonna feel sick. Okay. And if you don't drink enough water, you're gonna have a headache. It's the same thing that I'm doing with my 6-year-old. I'm just doing it with an adult, you know?
Yes.
And there's the old adage of do it because I said so. Because I'm the parent, you're the child, just do it. It's not a great parenting style. So why do we use it with people? Why do we expect adults just to listen to what I say? So yes, I'm happy to just, you know, lay out the plan and, you know, help you achieve your goal. But at the same time, I'm going to try and help you understand why I do this, why food's doing that. And if you don't want to know, that's fine. But I'm still going to do my best to explain it and walk you through it.
That's kind of where the psychology comes in behind it as well, to explain them why do they do what they do. And, you know, a lot of people are, like you were saying, you know, you can't just, because I say so.
Yeah.
But they want the information. But they have, so my experience also is, even in putting together this model that I've put together for trauma, all of that information is freely available. Like, it's the same thing. But a lot of people don't want to take the time also to go and listen to this, go watch that, read this, pull this, and then put it all together. So what I'm hearing you say, it's kind of that's your role. You've pulled it all together in one place, and here's the package, and now let's walk through it, kind of thing. Because there is a lot of information out there, but it's also very overwhelming for people. And because we all wire differently, even in our bodies, never mind our minds, we do need something that's not a cookie cutter.
Yeah.
You know, and it's important to have a coach also. Like, I'm thinking, if somebody comes to you, that you are actually willing to listen, that you don't want to just pull them through the same production line, you know, that you actually want to hear what their unique issues are.
Exactly. You know, I'm here to listen to you and help you. I'm not just selling you something and, you know, have fun. Hope you get it. No, I want to know what the struggles are, and, you know, we'll adapt and we'll change, and, you know, we'll work together. This is a partnership. This isn't just me. I'm not a drill sergeant shouting at you, oh, you didn't do it this week, or you didn't eat properly, and that's not what it's about. Like, please, no.
And so do you just focus on the nutrition side, or is there a exercise plan as well, or what is your main focus?
The main focus is nutrition, but if they are going to the gym, or if they have some equipment at home and they want to work out, I will provide a workout program as well.
Okay.
I'm not a personal trainer. You know, I'm not a certified personal trainer, but I have worked with them. I do have an understanding of movements and what things are safe to do, what things work the body. And, you know, on that, it's quite often this will come up when people want to talk about exercise. You know, if you mention muscles to particularly women, they will immediately go, oh no, I don't want to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know, I don't want to be this muscle person. You know, I've been training for years. Like, how old am I? 30. So I would say 15 years at least. I don't look like Arnold. Okay. So the thought about somebody suddenly eating right and lifting a bit of weights, they're just going to suddenly grow all these muscles.
No.
It doesn't happen. It really doesn't happen. And if it does, then you're going to have world scientists and world fitness fanatics and bodybuilders contacting you and asking, what did you do?
How did you get that right?
Yeah. What steroids are you on? What performance enhancing drugs are you on? What are you doing? Give us a secret source, because it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, well, I can testify to that, because I mean, I've been training all my life, and like just recently, my husband and I've also started a very strict weight training program, and we're training together and we love it. And he's training me like he would train a man. And I come home every night and I'm like, oh, but it's created beautiful muscle tone. I mean, what's not to like? And the thing is, what women also need to understand is, as they get older, they do need to step away from the long cardio workouts and that sort of thing. Their bodies have got different nutrition needs, and their body responds differently to exercise. So the little bit of weight training that's actually very important as you get older, especially over the age of 50. You really need that, you know. So I think I think what I'm hearing also is there are a lot of myths that need to be dispelled around what people believe about food and what's good for them and what's not good for them, right?
Yeah. As we were saying, you know, there's a lot of information available, but there's a lot of bad information too.
Yeah, that's right.
There's so much. You can't sit and sift through it all. You just can't. You don't have the time. So how do you know that I'm giving you is true compared to somebody else? Well, the best way is to speak to my clients, I suppose.
Yeah, that's right.
You can ask them, listen, has it worked for you? Has Kyle helped you? And not just lose weight, because if we look at weight in itself, if you stand on a scale, that number is so misleading. And I've found this with a lot of people, you know, I've got clients that will weigh themselves every day because the world has told you if you're this age, you should weigh this much and you should look this way. I've been able to get them off the scale for, I think it's been 6 weeks. They haven't weighed themselves once. And they feel better about themselves because, firstly, that weighing yourself every day, it's stress. It's adding so much anxiety to you, right? Like, oh, I picked up a kilogram, or I picked up half a kilogram, or I've lost half a kilogram. I'm doing well tomorrow, you know. And that number on the scale is not just body fat. It's weighing your water. It's weighing the food that's in your body. It's weighing your organs, your bones, your skin, your tissue, like everything. So you could weigh yourself today and you could be, let's say, 50 kilograms. You could weigh yourself tomorrow and you could be 48.
Yeah.
It's just because you've lost water, for example.
Yeah.
You ate less carbs, so now you're holding less water.
That's right.
You could be coming up to that time of the month, so the body's getting ready, and you could be coming out of that time of the month. So the body changes all the time. So that number on the scale is just, it's very misleading. And if people can just understand that. Now, it's not a quick thing, I understand, just to stop weighing yourself. However,
deprogram yourself.
There's ways around it, yeah. Because so many times somebody will feel amazing, they'll have more energy than they've had in their life, they are getting compliments from people, but they'll stand on the scale and say, oh, I've actually picked up weight, so what I'm doing isn't working. You've just completely ignored what your body's telling you. Your body's told you you're feeling good. You know, you're able to focus, people are telling you you're looking good, but because the scale says something else, it's very frustrating. But at the same time, it's something that I'm very passionate about to help people through. You know,
so you've got to help them change those, you know, just like with trauma, we work with the pathways and neural pathways that have to be changed. You've got to now deal with their neural pathways around their food trauma and the things that they believe that aren't true about that. Because you know, if you look at the videos about the anorexic girls or bulimic girls that then decided they're going to go into weight training and they're going to start eating more, and they sort of build themselves up, and you look at their weight before and after, and they look absolutely beautiful with a bit of muscle. They've eaten, and they're eating like 2,000 calories a day or something like that, where they were maybe eating 5. But their weight is either the same or it's just a little bit more, but their bodies look totally different.
Totally different, yeah.
Just because they're caring for the body. So there's really this media has really pumped out this view of how we're supposed to look, you know, versus what's healthy for us in the long run.
Yeah, you can go and, you know, anybody can go and Google. They'll often show you 2 pictures of the same person weighing the same, but this one will have
looking different,
20% body fat, this one will have 15, and they look completely different.
Exactly.
It's just because they decided to do a little bit of strength training and eating a little bit different. Just changing 1 or 2 things makes all the difference. It's not a complete lifestyle shift where you have to now only eat broccoli and asparagus, and then run for 3 hours a day. It's really not that extreme. Yeah.
So Kyle, before you got into the coaching, you said you had an interest in it because of what your mom went through. So is that kind of your So your testimony behind it is that you walked that experience with your mom, right? And then you came to the UK now, and you had the opportunity now to actually study and do this. Did you know that this was a passion for you before you started doing it? Because I always speak to people about, what has God written about us in our book, and as he unfolds our destiny scroll, like the little pieces fall in place, and we realize that passion, that thing that we had in our heart, when we actually are doing that, we go, oh, wow, this has been here all along. Why didn't I know that? Kind of, that kind of feeling. So I'm just wondering if you had the same feeling when you started doing the nutrition, like, this has always been in me. Why didn't I see it before? Why hasn't it come out before?
I think it did. I've always enjoyed, way back when I used to train with various different people, and from then, I used to run classes for people that were struggling with weight, but I honestly didn't know what I was doing. Like, I'm just going to show them what's worked for me, right? Whether it works for you, back then, I have no idea. But I thought, let me just try and help them in any way that I can. And then after getting into nutrition and seeing how food either helps us or hurts us, it was like, this is amazing. I can't wait to share this with people. And maybe I'm a bit too extreme, because whenever I speak to people, I bring it in, some way. And people love to talk about food. So it's a good icebreaker. I just try not to overwhelm people with information and things that people don't need. But it's all the time in me. And I think the passion was always there. I just didn't know where I needed to, sort of aim it, or what I needed to use that passion properly,
So you kind of unlocked it, like that door got opened, and everything could come out. Because I can see you have a passion for what you do, and so I can also see how, that can be a ministry. Like we were talking earlier, the new segment on the website is going to be Marketplace Ministries. And I'll just tell the audience, if you're looking for Kyle or you want to know how to get hold of him, his details will be there, but I'll also have some details at the end of the slide. But it's like God puts a passion in our heart, and it doesn't always have to be in a capacity where we are actually a physical counselor or a coach. We can be a businessman running a successful business and know that God's put that in our heart to grow wealth, or to teach other people something, or to bring knowledge, or whatever it is. But we're doing that in the marketplace. People don't always have to know what's driving us, but they will just see the passion in us, and they will see the fruit that comes from that. And I feel that's so important, because God, we've got all these spheres around us, these systems around us, and we need to have people in all those systems to impact our life in a positive way. So the simple things such as nutrition, which is such an important part, why not go to somebody who God's put that in their heart as a ministry? Because you're going to get you're going to get something good, because it's God that's put it there. So I was just wondering your thoughts around what you do as a ministry. You've already said that you enjoy helping people, but is that your internal sense that it's actually just part of your calling, and this is what God's called you to do? And I know you've got the passion already, but just give us your thoughts around marketplace ministry.
I think it can be part of my ministry. I don't know if it's the full, what I should be doing only. It's a difficult one, because it opens the doors to people, and I think people know when someone's being honest, when they're listening,
Mm.
And when they're just there to, just, I'm
Mm.
just here because I need to do this kind of thing.
It's a means to an end kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I really want to help people. And yes, from it, I will make a living. That's just part of what it is. But because I'm getting money from it doesn't mean I'm going to treat you any less. It's not
Mm.
not looking to have thousands of clients and then I'll just do what I need to do, just touch base a little bit. Each person that comes to me is like the only one that I've got. I'm going to treat you and make sure that I walk with you properly.
Mm. Mm.
And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be transparent with you. I'm going to hold you accountable. And if it comes up, where people ask me about me and I can bring in God to the situation, of course I will.
Mm.
There's no question. And I believe that from my honesty, from my, being a proper listener and paying attention to the person, they will see that in me.
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone, but there will be people, and it'll come through. And of course, I will share Jesus with them, no question.
No, I mean that light in us, I mean, I live in Abu Dhabi, and so we know this is a Muslim country. And there's one place particularly where I go, obviously at the gym, we go there every night. But since I've joined this particular gym close by us, it's not a lot of women there. Actually, I don't think I've seen maybe one or two women train there, but it's mostly men that are there. And I always pray when I go in, just under my breath, and I'll just pray and I ask that the light of God in me, that residue that's in me, must just remain in that place, so that whoever comes into that place or whoever passes by where I've been, because we are light, right? God says He's the Father of lights, so that lightiness can be left behind in places wherever we go. I mean, if we leave our DNA behind, we can leave the God behind, right? And and I've heard of a lot of people that are beauty therapists and that sort of thing, where they, doing therapy with ladies, but they're praying for them, and like we can pray for our clients, whether they know we're praying for them or not, that God will touch their lives and bring the breakthrough. I think that's their benefit. They don't actually realize what an awesome benefit that is for them. That you see this person's got a problem and maybe they're not a believer, but you can pray for them and you can bring them before God and say, Lord, you show them the way, you help them, and that's awesome. Like, I feel for me, it's like a secret weapon.
It is, yeah.
That you have that nobody knows about. That's a cool thing for me as well.
Yeah, a lot of the time we're like undercover, and
that's right.
If we're invading or infiltrating the enemy space, then we're winning.
That's right. That's right. So Kyle, you obviously find this very rewarding and satisfying at the moment.
Yes.
Like you say, and like you said, you don't know if this is the whole picture. So my experience in my life has been, and maybe others can identify with this, is God unlocks. This is sort of the picture that I've seen, is where God unlocks our scroll at different times in our lives. So now you're ready for this. I'm going to unroll your scroll so that you can read this, and it's going to read out in your life. And then I'm going to move you up a bit, and I'm going to prepare you, and I'm going to get you ready, and I'm going to unroll another part of your scroll. And so every little step you take in faith and move towards that thing that brings you joy, you're opening your scroll. And so I definitely, as you said that, I just had that sense as well. It is the beginning. It's the beginning of something, and you've taken that first step. Like you spoke just now about the psychology and the life coaching. If once that's all in place, it's such an incredible package to be able to offer people. It's like this one-stop shop, And who knows where that'll go and where that'll take. Yeah. So I think, the Bible says we mustn't despise small beginnings. So it doesn't matter where we start,
Exactly.
plans are always much bigger than us, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
His plan and purpose for our lives, that's going to stand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish sometimes we could see the big picture. You know,
Yeah.
it would just help sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes
He doesn't do
we can
that.
be,
Eh?
yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah.
And I know it's for our own good. Like, he's all knowing. Like, you can't question him. But just just give me a little bit more. You know?
Yeah, but just think if, like, I often also think if God had shown me from the beginning when I said I do, you know, when I married God and I said I do,
Yeah.
and I said, okay, Lord, send me, kind of thing. You know, we often speak about this. If I'd known the road I'd have to walk, I probably would have gone, no.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
he does that. Otherwise, we're gonna back out. And if you just think where you were like 2.5 years ago to where you are now, you can just see God's plan unfold, and awesomely He's unfolding that. So I think it's to stay present and just sort of go with what is unlocked right now, because otherwise we'll just be totally overwhelmed by it.
We will.
Yeah. So Kyle, how can people reach you? I will put information out, but just to share with them, I know you've got this awesome presentation thing you do on Facebook that I saw, because that's what caught my attention, that you're showing them all these cool things. But so what are the different platforms they can find you on?
So the main platform is Facebook. You can welcome to add me as a friend. I can chat with you anytime. People can message me questions. You don't have to be a client or anything. And then I've got a private Facebook community. It's Eat Smart for Fat Loss and Strength. You can go and search for that. That again is not for clients. It is for anybody who wants to learn about food, learn about fitness, or you don't even have to be present in the group. You can just see all the things that people talk about and posts. You're welcome to be a lurker. Welcome those.
Not a troll, just a lurker.
Yeah. And then I am on Instagram, but not often. Post every now and again on there, but mostly on Facebook.
And so is Facebook your page? Do you have a website?
Yeah, so they can reach me on Facebook. That would be the website.
Okay. Yeah, it's just amazing now with Facebook. You can just do everything. Hey, it's like one stop, go get everything done there. Okay, well, thanks, Kyle, for just the time. I know you said you're really busy and you've made time for this today, and I feel really privileged to have had this conversation, and just to hear where you're at and where you're going. And so I'm excited to see, what God's going to do, and just that you'll get clients even through the platform. I think it's always nice for the people to see a face to the marketplace ministry, so that they know who they're going to be dealing with. So just thank you so much for your time, and I just pray that God will bless your venture going ahead. And
thanks for the invite. It's been great. And for all those that watch, go and check out Tammy's website when it launches. And then, did you say you're launching a book as well?
Yeah, I'm launching a trauma manual that's also going to be a coaching course, which is going to come out very, very soon. So we'll watch the space, right? Both of us will watch the space. I'll watch your space and you can watch my space. Okay. So thank you, everybody, for watching, and until next time. Thanks, Kyle.
Cool.